Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. O Maharaj Parikshit, descendant of King Bharata, Vasudeva could understand that this child was the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana. Having concluded this without a doubt, he became fearless. Bowing down with folded hands and concentrating his attention, he began to offer prayers to the child who illuminated his birthplace by his natural influence. Purport. Struck with such great wonder, Vasudeva now concentrated his attention on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Understanding the influence of the Supreme Lord, he was surely fearless, since he understood that the Lord had appeared to give him protection. Gata bhi prabhavavit. Understanding that the Supreme Personality of Godhead was present, he appropriately offered prayers as follows. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Et Kripa Tamaham Mande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Namavam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatara Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. I offer my respectful obeisances to all of you, the wonderful devotees at Bhaktivedanta Manor. I have very nice memories of my last visit here in 2006. I was very inspired during my visit then, seeing the excellent standards of sadhana morning program. Thank you. Hare Krishna. So we are reading from a very nice section of the Srimad Bhagavatam. But before we discuss this verse, we can briefly remember Srivas Thakur, whose appearance day is today. He is one of the principal associates of Lord Chaitanya, the member of the Panchatattva. Mukha kavitva kare yaha sabara smarane pangu giri lange andha deke taragane. Kaviraj Goswami explains very beautifully that the power of the Panchatattva, who are these personalities? Mukha kavitva kare. A dumb man can start singing poetry by the mercy of the Panchatattva. Yaha sabara smarane, by simply remembering the Panchatattva. Pangu giri lange andha deke taragane. A lame man can jump across a mountain. And andha deke taragane, a blind man can start seeing the stars. So in other words, the Panchatattva are most merciful. And that's why before we begin our chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we invoke their blessings. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. We are not only chanting the names of the Panchatattva, but also Adi Gaura Bhakta, means all of you. Kaviraj Goswami also encourages us to take shelter of all the Vaishnavas. Kaviraj Goswami has in Chaitanya Charitamrita very beautifully explained the mercy of the Panchatattva. Vande Guru Nisha Bhaktan Ishan Ishavatarakan Tat Prakashas Tat Shakti Krishna Chaitanya Sanyakam. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has incarnated in Kali Yuga, and very mercifully he has not come as one, he has come as 5 personalities. 5 truths. Pancha Tattva. God in 5, but these 5 are one. So, Vande Gurun, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami offers obeisances to all the spiritual masters. Isha Bhaktan, devotees of the Lord. Ishan, Ishavatarakan. Here Ishan, the Lord, refers to Lord Chaitanya. Ishavatarakan, the incarnations of the Lord, Advaita Acharya. Tat Prakashas, the expansion of the Lord, the immediate expansion, Lord Nityananda. Tat Shakti, the internal potency, that is Gadadhar Pandit. And the Bhakta, Vande Guru Nisha Bhaktan, the devotee of the Lord, is exemplified by Srivas Thakur. Srivas Thakur, the incarnation of Narada Muni. Actually, on the day of any of the Panchatattva's appearance day, we can meditate and remember the shelter each one of them represents. Actually, all the 5 personalities in Panchatattva representing one shelter, one aspect of shelter. So like Srivas Thakur, today is his appearance day. Srivas Thakur represents Shuddha Nama Ashraya, means the shelter of pure chanting of the holy names. So if you remember Srivas Thakur very prayerfully on his appearance day, which is today, and beg for his blessings, we will be able to chant purely. We all need shelter. So each member of the Panchatattva represents an aspect of shelter. Now we may not talk about shelter so much, but everyone needs shelter. Because our logic and our intellectual analysis can help us to a certain extent in Krishna consciousness. Beyond a certain point, logic fails. It's only the mercy that can help us grow in our spiritual lives. So Srivas Thakur represents what ashray? Shuddhanam. Gadadhar Pandit, Advaita Acharya represents Pancharatrika Vidhi ashray. Means Advaita Acharya would perform worship of the Lord with Ganges water, and he would be intensely offering prayers, following all the rules and regulations. So if we want to strictly follow all the regulative principles and we want to really be absorbed in devotional service, we need the mercy of Advaita Acharya. Because he strictly, with a lot of discipline, he followed his regulative principles. So Advaita Acharya represents Pancharatrika Vidhi, the rules and regulations given in the Pancharatrika scriptures. Gadadhar Pandit represents Bhava Ashraya. If we take shelter of Gadadhar Pandit, we will develop emotions, feelings for Krishna. Gadadhar Pandit had a lot of refined feelings for Lord Chaitanya. He would cry, he would always be serving Lord Chaitanya, intense emotions. So we can also develop emotions. Because without developing feelings for the Lord, our bhakti is tasteless. Our bhakti has no juice. Ultimately, we are practicing devotional service so that we can develop loving sentiments for the Lord. So when we pray to Gadadhar Pandit, we will develop those sentiments in our heart. And who is remaining? Nityananda Prabhu. Nityananda Prabhu is Prema Ashraya. If we call out to Lord Nityananda, we will develop love for Krishna. Prema Matta Nityananda Kripavatar Uttama Adama Kichu no Kare Bichar. Prema Matta Nityananda is mad with love for Krishna. And he is Kripa Avatar. He is the incarnation of mercy. And he doesn't care, Uttama Adama Kichu na Kare Bichar. He doesn't care whether you are a highly learned person or you are an ignorant person. He just distributes love. And Lord Chaitanya is Sarva Rasa Ashraya. If we take shelter of Lord Chaitanya, our relationship with Krishna, the rasa, the mellow of devotional service will be fully revealed. Our rasa, our relationship will be fully revealed. So like this, these 5 have come to plunder the storehouse of love of God and distribute it freely without discrimination. And they would drink the nectar and they would get intoxicated and they would drown the world with love for Krishna. And today Srivas Thakur's appearance day, who not only chanted purely, but he displayed unparalleled faith in Lord Chaitanya. They would have kirtan a whole night at his house. Actually, they were having kirtan during the daytime. Once Lord Chaitanya said, why are we wasting our nights? We should also have kirtan in the night time. So they would have kirtan at Srivas Thakur's house whole night. And one day Lord Chaitanya asked him that, you don't seem to be working how do you get food? How do you earn money? He said like this. Lord Chaitanya asked for an explanation. He said, I clap 3 times if I want something and I get. I don't have to worry. So Lord Chaitanya was amazed. He said, what faith you have? You are only absorbed in hearing and chanting and everything is provided by Krishna. Then Lord Chaitanya gave a benediction. He said, Shrivas, even if there is so much poverty that Goddess Lakshmi has to beg, a situation may arise like that. But you will never be bereft of anything. So like that Lord Chaitanya blessed him. And once another instance of his unparalleled faith was when one day Srivas Thakur's son died during the kirtan. And Srivas Thakur came to know, he went inside and he said, he told all the people who were crying and his wife and the other ladies in the house, don't you dare disturb Lord Chaitanya. He is in great ecstasy chanting and dancing. I don't want to disturb his pleasure. And he said, you just hold your tears within and cry softly. Don't let the Lord get disturbed. That was his mode of service. Unimaginable. And he came outside and he resumed the kirtan. But after some time, Lord Chaitanya realized that there is something wrong here. He asked Srivas, what is wrong? I'm not feeling the same ecstasy. There is something not right. And then devotees revealed that, my dear Lord, Srivas' son has died. And Lord Chaitanya started crying, seeing the dedication and sacrifice of Srivas Thakur, that he didn't want his kirtan to be disturbed. And that time Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embraced Srivas and he cried and he said, Srivas, how will I ever live in separation from you? How can I ever leave you? Devotees didn't understand the purport of Lord Chaitanya's statement. Lord Chaitanya was saying this, implying that very soon he is going to take sannyas. Only few devotees could understand the purport. So like this, there was once one hilarious pastime. Srivas Thakur's mother-in-law was wanting to attend the kirtan. That kirtan was private party. Nobody could attend that kirtan like that. But Srivas Thakur's mother-in-law, she came inside. She forced herself inside. And she hid in a basket because she wanted to see Lord Chaitanya's kirtan. So Lord Chaitanya was dancing, chanting. He said, I'm not feeling that ecstasy. Somebody who should not be here is here. So Srivas Thakur searched and he came to know that in that basket his mother-in-law was hiding. He just drove her out of the house. He chastised her and drove her out of the house. So there is a purport to this pastime, that there is mother-in-law like unwanted desires in our heart. As long as those desires are there, we can't experience ecstasy in the kirtan. So like this, Srivas Thakur is one of the most illustrious devotees, incarnation of Narad Muni, always chanting and dancing. So today we can remember him prayerfully and aspire to chant purely. And also it is a very nice occasion that today's purport also talks about remembering the Lord. You see Vasudev is in the prison. He is shackled by the chains and he is completely helpless. He is not able to give charity. He is not able to celebrate Krishna's birthday, but he is doing all of this in the mind. He is offering his prayers and he is offering his service to Krishna in the mind by favorable remembrance. So this is what we are supposed to do on the appearance day of the Lord. Actually, the essence of bhakti is this, remembering the Lord favorably. Smaranam, one of the 9 limbs of bhakti is smaranam, remembrance of Krishna. What we are practicing now, like we chant Hare Krishna, we take part in Guru Puja, we take Charanamrit. These are all part of the 64 items of devotional service. We are all supposed to be doing 64 items of devotional service. That is part of Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, means practicing bhakti through rules and regulations. Rupa Goswami has given 64 items. Somebody may say, but I forget. I can't remember all the 64. There are many, In one of the 64 items is to be equipoised in loss and gain. One of the 64 items is to offer water to Tulsi Devi. One of the 64 items is to accept Charanamrit. So like this. Somebody may say, I don't remember all the 64. No problem. Rupa Goswami says, the essence of all the rules and regulations is what? Smartavya fatadam Vishnu, Vismartavya na jatuchit. Always remember Krishna never forget Krishna. Sarva vidhi nishedhasyur etayoreva kinkara. All the rules and regulations are servants of these two rules. First rule is always remember Krishna. Second, never forget Krishna. So ultimately, when we are dying, when we are giving up this body, it's our favorable remembrance of Krishna that is going to help. And even now, as we are practicing devotional service, I'm sure many of you must be faced with confusions. Have you ever faced contradictory situations in your life? Oh, what I'm supposed to do? Thank you, Srinivas Prabhu, for... We always feel confused. Devotees feeling confused is okay. It's not a problem. Sometimes devotees feel, I get all the time perplexed. That's okay. Devotees feeling confused is not a problem. When we get discouraged, that is a problem. Confused means not knowing what to do. Discouraged means not wanting to do anything. So confusion is natural. So if we go through confusion and not understanding what is the right thing to do, what should we do? Even if we don't do one, or even if we are not sure what to do, at least one thing we should always do. What is that? That is the essence of all the rules and regulations. What is that? Chant Hare Krishna and always remember Krishna. Like one of the rules in Bhakti is, whenever you see your spiritual master, you should glorify him. I'm just giving an example. And another rule is, in front of the deities, we should not glorify anyone else. That's why when Tulsi Aarti starts, we close the curtain. So what is the one rule I said? Always glorify spiritual master. And another rule is, don't glorify anyone else in front of the deities. Now if the spiritual master comes in front of the deities, and you are there in the temple hall, what do? You will end up breaking one of the two rules. I remember once, one very senior sannyasi, of disciple of Srila Prabhupada, came to our temple in Chowpatty. And seeing him, spontaneously, I became happy. I said, Jai Maharaj, Hari Bol, and I offered full dandavat. The altar was open. And Maharaj was so offended. He said, how can you offer me obeisances in front of the deities? Nonsense. So I apologized. And then I got confused. But then when I read Nectar of Devotion, I saw, this is there. So how do you resolve this contradiction now? Simple. What is the essence of all the rules?
Always remember Krishna.
Never forget Krishna. So next time the spiritual master is standing in front of the deities and you are in the temple hall, what do? You may say, Krishna, this is your pure devotee. And I want to honor you by honoring your servant. So I am offering him obeisances. So we have remembered Krishna and offered obeisances. Or somebody may say, Krishna, I have heard that we should not offer obeisances to anyone else. Please forgive me. Basically, the essence is, if you are remembering Krishna, then it doesn't matter which of the two rules you follow. As long as the essence is not forgotten. So that's what Vasudeva is doing, because we will be put in situations where many times we will be helpless. And the only wealth we will have is remembrance. Recently, one of the top yoga teachers in Mumbai, he met with a very serious accident. And he was bedridden for 3 months. He could not do any yoga. A very senior yoga teacher. And when I came to know, I was feeling so fortunate that I am practicing Bhakti Yoga, where I can practice all my yoga asanas even when I am in a hospital bed. I just have to remember Krishna. I have to chant Hare Krishna. Smaranam is an integral part of our process. Those of you who have experience of Mumbai's local trains, almost more than 10 million people travel in the local trains of Mumbai every day. It's packed. You're just hanging like this. You're forced to smell the armpits of other people. It's so horrible. And your body is twisted. And there is, the seat where only 2 people can actually sit, but 3 manage to sit. But in Mumbai local trains, even the 4th person somehow manages to get a few centimeters to park his bottom. Somehow he manages to squeeze in. And he sits. It's so intense. So there you can't do anything. You can't even put your hand in the bag and remove your bead bag. It's so bad. The peak hours. So what do? Chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Now this is important for us because, we all are going through struggle. And there are no secrets in Bhakti Yoga. Everybody has to suffer. No one is spared. Life is tough. And the only wealth a devotee has is his remembrance of Krishna. Anukulasya sankalpa pratikulasya varjanam. Whatever is favorable for bhakti, we accept. And Rupa Goswami says, Anukulena Krishna Anushilanam Bhakti Uttama. Favorably remembering Krishna. Because otherwise, what happens is, I don't know if you have experienced this, many times we get trapped by the ritualistic sadhana. Because we are so conscious of finishing our 16 rounds. We are so conscious of the tick. Oh, I had to do this today. I had to hear Prabhupada's class. Tick. I had to do this. Tick, 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 tick. Done. 16 rounds, done. Washing clothes, done. Washing the pots in the temple, done. But at the end of it, there is hollowness in the heart. A devotee feels disconnected from Krishna despite being meticulous in his practices. And that's when we do some sincere soul searching and we realize, oh, I didn't remember Krishna. That is the essence of all the rules and regulations. Now you may say, okay, I'm going to sit down, close my eyes and remember Krishna. No, that's not going to happen. Our minds will take us everywhere except Krishna. So then what do? We do service also and we remember Krishna also. Tasma sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmara yuddhacha. Krishna tells Arjuna, at all times remember me and also fight the war. If you only keep fighting, in the sense if you only keep doing our duties but not remembering Krishna, we will feel dry. And if we only keep remembering Krishna, our minds will go crazy. So bhakti is also like yoga. In yoga what they do? What are the two most important elements in yoga? Those of you who are yoga teachers or yoga students, what are the two most important things you are supposed to do when you are doing yoga? One is do the asana, stretch yourself. Like I can't be doing Vajrasana by just, I can't be just doing any asana just like this. I have to actually stretch a little bit. Then you actually get good health. And the second is, there is another important element along with stretching. I learnt it the hard way. I was very tired in temple, doing a lot of services. So when yoga teacher would come, I asked him, please help me. So he taught me some asanas. I was sleeping 6 hours every night. And after these yoga classes started, I needed 8 hours of sleep. So I knew something was going wrong. So then I told the yoga teacher, what am I doing wrong? So he revealed to me something very interesting. He came and saw me doing yoga. He said, you are stretching yourself nicely, but you are not breathing normally. You have to inhale. As you are stretching, you have to also inhale normally. Jai Shri Shri Radha Gokulanand Bhagavan ki Jai, Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki Jai, Gaur Nitai ki Jai. He said, as you are stretching, you also have to breathe. Inhale and exhale. So if you, sometimes what I was doing was I was holding my breath. Oh. Stretch. So that caused a lot of exhaustion. So he said, when you are stretching, you also need to breathe normally. And then I suddenly realized, wow, this is what happens in Bhakti Yoga also. Bhakti Yoga, the stretching is compared to services. And the breathing normally in yoga is compared to what in Bhakti Yoga? Remembering Krishna. So like yogis, we may do lot of stretching, we may do lot of seva, but still be miserable if you are not remembering Krishna. That's why, there has been history of devotees in the past who have done lot of service, but they have given up Krishna consciousness because there is no remembrance of Krishna. And there have been examples of Sahajiyas who took Krishna consciousness so cheaply that they would think they are remembering Krishna, but they won't do any practical service for Krishna. So they couldn't really connect to Krishna. In a relationship, husband-wife, or any other relationship, there is loving expression of affection as well as there is service. Similarly, Bhakti Yoga, Srila Prabhupada translated as devotional service. There has to be both. We stretch ourselves, we work for Krishna, and we also remember Krishna favorably. And if we are sincerely doing our services and then we remember, we will be forced to remember because services will always be challenging. Especially if you are doing services in association of devotees. Welcome to the real world. Krishna consciousness society is such a society that Krishna will arrange at least one person to crush our false ego. We can never be, even however senior you are, whoever you are, there will be somebody who will come and apparently tell you what you are doing something wrong. Krishna sent someone. So at that time, what do? We can't fight with them. We just turn to Krishna. That's why we have such elaborate deity worship, so that we can take shelter of Krishna. Yaddanudyasina yukta karma granti nibandhanam chindanti kovidastasya kona kuryat katharatim. Shuta Goswami says, the remembrance of Krishna is like a sword, asina. Karma granti nibandhanam. That just crushes all the entanglements of the heart. Kona kuryat katharatim. Who is such a person who will not take shelter of this hearing and chanting and remembering of Krishna? Sometimes the desires for sense gratification, they overwhelm. And it's such a big struggle to say no. So what do devotees do? Serious practitioners of Krishna consciousness, they cry out to Krishna. They remember Krishna. So what happens when we remember Krishna? That remembrance of Krishna adds sweetness to our consciousness. It adds some taste in our life. And that taste gives strength to the devotee to tolerate. And even if he slips, but because he is constantly remembering Krishna, that remembrance will help him fight back and come back. If we are not remembering Krishna, then it's a matter of time before we don't rise when we slip. Sometimes devotees do fall, but there's a difference between fall down and fall away. You fall down, you can always rise. And remembrance of Krishna is what helps a devotee to rise and move forward. And just like Vasudeva is in the prison, we are also imprisoned by our desires. We are also helpless as a tsunami would flood our consciousness and bewilder some of the most advanced devotees. Material energy is indefatigable. She will never give up till we give up this body. Srila Prabhupada writes in Teachings of Queen Kunti, very nice statement, that Maya will keep testing the devotee till the last minute, because Maya wants to see whether we want to serve Krishna or whether we want to disturb Krishna. I like that statement very much. Srila Prabhupada says Maya wants to see whether we want to serve Krishna or whether we want to... We can never disturb Krishna, but the mood is that are we really interested in serving Krishna? So we will be tested with provocations, temptations, distractions. And in all these situations, what will help a devotee is remembrance. And also what is happening when there is remembrance of Krishna? What is happening to Vasudeva? He has become fearless. He has become fearless of Kamsa. Today's verse is saying that his fear vanished. Now he was ready to execute the Lord's order. This is another phenomenon that happens to many of us. We live always in fear of the future. What will happen? Bhayam dvitiya nibeshatasyat ishadapetasya viparyayo smriti. We are constantly, because of the duality, we are worrying. What will happen? What will happen? But just like a child is very safe in the mother's arms, similarly when we are chanting and remembering Krishna, we feel safe. That's why Srila Prabhupada could make kachoris in the middle of the Second World War when Japanese planes were dropping bombs in Calcutta. Srila Prabhupada was making kachoris saying, Rake Krishna mare Krishna rake ke. If Krishna wants to protect me, who can kill me? And if Krishna wants to kill me, who can protect me? So this is very important. Developing fearlessness, this is only possible when our consciousness is filled with remembrance of Krishna. Otherwise, how do you explain? Srila Prabhupada, an old man going to New York. There were snipers at the place where Srila Prabhupada was staying. First of all, he is in a foreign country. He doesn't know anybody there. And he is living alone. He had taken a room on rent, paying $72 every month. He didn't know where his money would come. Completely depending on Krishna. And later on when devotees asked him, Srila Prabhupada, how could you be so fearless? He could have said, I am remembering Krishna. But he was very humble. He said, no, I am a Calcutta man. I grew up in Calcutta. So I am fearless. But Srila Prabhupada was fearless because he was constantly absorbed in Krishna. And if you see the lifestyle Srila Prabhupada had, he was coming from Vrindavan where the temperature was, the lowest temperature would be 0 or 1. But in New York that year it was minus 25. And for Prabhupada's heart would beat very fast when he would hear the police sirens and he said New York smelt like dog stool. He just couldn't take that, but he was still happy. He was alone in New York, but he was not lonely. In a cosmopolitan city, you may not be alone. You may be surrounded by a lot of people, but still you could be lonely. Srila Prabhupada is alone, but not lonely. In Mumbai, where I am preaching, I was in Australia last week, 2 weeks ago. Interesting. Perth, Western Australia, 2.5 million square kilometers, 2.6 million square kilometers, and the population is 2.5 million. That means there is one person staying in average, there is one person in every kilometer. I was wondering why I am feeling so peaceful there. I have a lot of space for myself. And then I was comparing it with Mumbai, where I came from. Mumbai has 603 square kilometers and the population is 15 million. That is 25,000 people per square kilometer. What a contrast. I just didn't want to leave Perth, I was feeling so happy there because so much space. But there are people in Mumbai, in the middle of so many people, there are so many depression cases. They are surrounded by people, but still they are lonely. And there are rich people in Australia. In one particular retreat, one elderly lady, 72-year-old lady, she just met me on the road, morning walk I used to go. She started talking to me and she told me how wealthy she is. And then she said she is in depression. So, without remembrance of Krishna, there is no auspiciousness in our lives. And this has been very beautifully analyzed in the first canto of Bhagavatam. When Vidura is instructing Dhritarashtra, he says, it's only when we get attached to Krishna, only when we remember Krishna favorably, can we actually truly become happy. Vidurastatte abhi pretya Dhritarashtrama bhasata Rajan nirgamyatam shigram pashyedam bhayamagatam. When Vidura is chastising his brother Dhritarashtra, he tells him, my dear brother, look at your face in the mirror. Pashyedam bhayamagatam. You are overwhelmed by fear. You are denying it, but you are actually overcome by fear. So whoever you are, if you are not attached to Krishna, it's a matter of time, fear overwhelms us. I think before Margaret Thatcher died, and there are a lot of news in India, I used to get news about how she was going through a lot of suffering. There was one article where it said how she is a poor shadow of her former glorious self. And how her husband, whom she had lived with for 51 years, had died long back. And she was struggling and she had actually forgotten many things. At one time she was called she had a memory of a website. They used to say she has so much memory, so intelligent. But last few years she lived in fear. This is what Vidura says, Pashyedam bhayam agatam. Fear can overwhelm. So therefore we need to take shelter of Krishna because we will also go through the same situations. It's not that we'll have a healthy body. It's not that devotees will not have any diseases or any problems. But if you're remembering Krishna, we can be peaceful. Like Srila Prabhupada, when he was dying, what did he say? When devotees asked him, do you have anything, any desires in your heart? What did Srila Prabhupada say? Kuch ichha nahi. I don't have anything. I am fully satisfied. So therefore, let us take shelter of Krishna, increase our remembrance of Krishna. And if we do that, the happiness we experience is real. It's not imaginary. To conclude, I would like to chant one verse from the second canto, which gives us a very amazing hope. It gives a lot of hope on what will happen to us if we remember Krishna. So I'll end with this. I could connect to this verse very much. That's why I'm sharing. Dautatma Purusha Krishna Padamulam na munchati Mukta Sarva Pariklesha Pantasva Sharanam Yatha. Shukdev Goswami says, if we every day remember Krishna favorably, if we come in front of the deities, offer our prayers, if we chant Hare Krishna and remember Krishna, the experience will be Padamulam na munchati. First, we will never feel like leaving Krishna. Although we may be attacked by many desires, many problems, we will never want to leave Krishna. And second, Mukta Sarva Pariklesha. We will feel freedom and relief from suffering. How? He gives an analogy. Pantasva Sharanam Yatha. Just like a traveler is traveling a lot, going to many places. But after traveling everywhere, when he comes back home, how does he feel? He feels relief. Like when we travel a lot in India, in the Indian trains, Indian buses, and then when we come back to our homes, we take bath, get fresh, eat hot prasad. We feel so relieved. So Sukadeva Goswami says, when we remember Krishna, this is the feeling we get. Oh, relief. Thank you, Krishna. Thank you. When the storm subsides, sometimes in the middle of the storm we may be bewildered and confused. But if we just hang on, just hold on, and as the storm subsides, because nothing is permanent in this world, fortunately. So even the storm subsides after some time. And when the storm subsides, we feel, thank you, Krishna, I'm glad I didn't act whimsically. I didn't act impulsively. So like this, let us aspire to remember Krishna. And now Vasudeva is going to offer some of the most beautiful prayers in the Srimad Bhagavatam, which will start from tomorrow. Thank you very much.